What's the best example of women not understanding a man's body that you've ever heard? An ex thought that when we sit on the toilet, the penis just casually rests on the toilet seat, enjoying the view. I once worked with a girl who believed all the sperm that made daughters lived in one nut and all the sperm that made sons lived in the other nut, and that since my Bill lost a nut he could only have all boy children or all girl children, depending on which nut he lost. When I looked to my other coworker for support, she shrugged and she wasn't sure. Look it up. Shot in the dark, they got this from Scrubs? In high school, I knew a girl who thought cum came out the whole time a guy had sex. Not pre-cum, but like a steady faucet. She might have seen too much hentai. Then she would have thought that every girl has massive triple G Madonna death boobs. I had to enlighten a female coworker once after she made a comment about guys not being able to pee unless we are hard. She was 35 at the time.
For a very long time I, a woman, assumed that men couldn't pee if you were hard at it. Okay, so it seems most men, but not all, can pee when you're hard, but you prefer not to because it can be unpleasant and or take a lot of effort and or be difficult to aim till.
You can, but it's not pleasant. It shrinks? I was in the pool. Costanza will always be my first thought regarding shrinkage. Such an excellent episode, lol. Oh. I remember this one. I used to work at this store and this guy came in asking for tampons for men. He came in and he was walking yacht normally. Like he had just gotten kicked in the nuts or just had a vasectomy. If you know the walk, you know the walk. He was a regular. Nice guy. Knew him for years. He was really embarrassed by it. His GF was waiting in the car. I asked him to clarify. He said tampons for men. See. His junk had started bleeding and he freaked out. Told his GF. She told him it happened to everyone. She got hers when she was a teen and she was surprised it took him this long to get it. She told him everyone is shocked when it happens for the first time. Confused? So was I. I told the guy that men didn't get periods. We're not supposed to bleed down there. He told me his GF told him it was normal. That he should get a tampon and shove it up there. I told him it wasn't. Again. Men don't get periods. It isn't normal, and if your dick is bleeding then you need to get to the hospital. He got confused and penguined back to his car. I saved that man from a fate worse than death. How bad is sex education that causes them to think this way? Don't know what to tell you, bud. My sex ed from my parents was always get consent, always wear a condom and don't be a dick, and at school the only thing I remember was the teacher showing us a bunch of pictures of STDs and telling us that if we got pregnant it wouldn't be like Friends where Rachel would always be with her friends having fun and going to parties. Then again, I did space out for most of high school, so I can't put that on them. Although, I have always wondered whether she was always that ignorant or if she cheated on him, gave him an STD and covered it up. Dude was a goddamn idiot though. My sex ed from my parents was to give me a puberty book that covered both male and female development. No talking done, and this was only after I got my second period. Never told my mom or anyone about the first, and my sister ratted me out with the second. And school sex ed, all girls Catholic school, came from a representative from a period products company, no pics or videos included. Had a refresher with the sex ed pre-university, mixed sexes denominational school, and I was the only one who knew boys and men could be raped because I would actually read stuff outside of any school's curriculum. In college I was in a design class and somehow one of the girls got on the topic of erections and asked the nearby guys, myself included, how does the bone shrink when it goes back down? In utter confusion we asked, do you think the dick has a bone in it? She responded yes with a confused face and said, yeah, that's why they call it a boner, right? I mean, it at least had some literary logic behind it. I'm a guy and that's how I thought it works until my smart friend explained me how it really works. Right idea, wrong species. My girl wanted to watch me pee just to entertain herself. Apparently it's her first time to see a man take a piss. When I was done, I shaked it. Her eyes went wide and her jaw dropped. She asked, why are you doing that? Isn't that painful? I laughed and did it again. She screamed, stew up. One time I was watching my BFP and asked if I could aim for him and he just goes, go for it, so I just aimed his dick, while he peed. He started laughing and I started laughing, so I let go and he peed all over and was like, "Had you let go?" And then we both started laughing more. Edit, I really can't wait to show my BF that my highest upvoted Reddit comment is about me holding his wang. Thank you for the silver also. To be honest, you can never trust the stream. First girlfriend I ever had blew my dick like a birthday candle. Honey, blow is just an expression, you gotta suck that thing. I just spent way too long looking for a gif of Chevy Chase back doing the news on SNL. He used to do the thing where he pretended to be in the middle of the phone conversation when the camera cut to him at the start of the news segment, say something awkward funny, notice the camera and hang up. No, you don't blow on it. That is just an expression. Thinking that erections are 100% controllable voluntary. Trying to explain random boners to my wife was extremely difficult. Trying to explain why I sometimes lose mine if I'm stressed or anything else is also hard. Oftentimes they take it as a personal offense. My wife and I have been super stressed lately and it's affected my performance in the bedroom. Been married 5 years, it's never been a problem. She thought I wasn't attracted to her anymore or something. That was a tough one to explain. Been there. My drive has been low for a long time, but when I'm on my medication keeping it up is borderline impossible unless I'm literally not moving. If my heart rate starts to increase, bye bye boner. While I was occasionally able to keep a boner I could sometimes go for an hour and not finish, just end up giving up. On the flip side, when I'm off my meds, since we tend to go weeks without sex, the polar opposite happens. Frown. The number of women who think that after I got a vasectomy meant I no longer had balls was very surprising. You're fixed, like my dog, right? Every girl who treats my balls like a speed bag or produce their checking for ripeness at the market while messing around. Back in the 90s and early 00s there were actually magazine articles in women's magazines suggesting it as erotic. No idea what they were thinking. I can't remember which one. It was a major one like 17 or something, but when we were in the Navy, we were killing time, and one of the girls brought the magazine into our work center and she was asking us if the sex tips in that issue were really good, and I can't remember how many there were, but about half of them were things that would do absolutely nothing for us, and the other half were things that just sounded outright painful or uncomfortable. Sounds like Cosmopolitan. Their sex tips air were really tone deaf. I read a tip that said to do the helicopter, where you sit on your guy's dick and spin around. I would never put my husband or myself through that. And there were plenty of tips about grabbing your man's balls, too. I imagine to give the helicopter effect, you have to crab walk in a like circle to get enough speed, while also making helicopter noises. Get to choppa. That different men have different refractory periods, time required to recover between orgasms. Some men require mere moments, others require several hours, but this young lady at a work event was convinced that if you couldn't get hard again within minutes you obviously weren't that into it. Another one I overheard in high school was if he comes a lot that means he really enjoyed it. While this could be true, it is not a guarantee by any margin. Remember when I was in HS and overheard a group of girls in the corner of the room talking about one's boyfriend coming 15 times last night, I immediately laughed out loud and deadpan said to her, not possible. OFC the why not came and I joked he'd be dead. Obviously maybe it would be possible, but dear God I know I would be a lifeless husk after that. A little poof of dust comes out please. No more. Just a little white flag comes out afterwards. Had something hilarious happen with an ex-GF. We were out for a birthday party and both of us got absolutely hammered. Come about 4 a.m. I get up to go to the toilet and my drunk self decides that the nearby bin in my room is the toilet. Girlfriend sees that I'm peeing everywhere so she gets up and helps me aim into the bin. Now here comes the strange part, while she's aiming she starts jerking my dick like it's a handjob. I hazily begin to remember this the next morning and we start talking about it with a laugh. Then I asked her why did she start jerking it. She said I thought you had to do a jerking motion to make the pee come out. Cue about an hour of me laugh crying about it. Your girlfriend milked you.